we go. All right, welcome back to the Lunch Table Podcast. You already know what it is. Your boy Jamal Gill in the building. Per usual, I got my brothers with me, Richard Clark, Jeffrey Destiny.
Nice.
And together we are the Lunch Table Podcast.
You heard.
With food for thought is served straight.
And everybody gets a plate.
Oh, yes indeed.
Oh, you seen the alley? I caught it. I took the rock from you, caught
Okay,
it.
Blake. Okay, Blake.
Wait till LeBron?
Okay.
Bronze to bronze.
That hit a nerve right there. Whoa, chill. We're not gonna do this. Ooh, I got a cold.
I got time for ball talk.
I got a cold. I got a cold teammate with me today.
Yeah.
Chill. I'm calming down. All right,
Oh, they be ganging up on you?
Yeah, look, this guy right here.
Okay.
Look, this he's
I'm fair.
He's fair. He's
Brown
fair.
sexual?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, y'all niggas
Very
is
much so.
disrespectful.
Yeah,
we going that way. Now I know how to play the
Let's save it to the
defense.
end, man.
We'll save it to the end.
Okay, definitely. But definitely glad to be back here. We got a special guest with us today. The good brother Arthur Morrison.
Peace.
Yes.
Peace, God. Peace.
And blinked in again. You know, this man is very, very, very well deep into the game of real estate right now. He's come on. Also a former pro basketball player as well. He did his thing out there overseas as well. But today we're gonna mostly keep it on real estate, as you guys well know. We have issues not going to the basketball route, but we're going to keep it focused on real estate today. Indeed. And Art has its own, I guess, what would you call it?
Real estate investing or investment firm.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a shell company that allows me to try and fail and all of that in the game of real estate. Yep, trial and error real estate.
Explain that too, because you say shell company, people think bad. So
shell like oil? Oh, that sounds.
No, not
you
even shell.
mean like shell, like it's small, like somebody else is taking over it or something.
Or like you just have this in place to do some shady shit. Because you
Oh,
get
no.
shell
Okay,
company.
okay.
You're
Nah,
like,
shell is protection.
Okay.
Turtles don't do shady shit in their shell. They protect themselves.
That was
You know what I mean?
That's more Boston Rikers.
Oh, stop.
Okay. All right. So and what's the name of that firm?
So it's United Home Relief. I came up with it on a flight.
Okay.
Because I fly United. I like their logo, and United is like, it means together, but also you think nationwide when you think United. So our goal right now, we only deal in Jersey, but our goal is to be able to conduct real estate nationwide.
Okay.
And then the term home relief really will relieve people of their properties, relieve people of their stress whenever they're in a distressed property or they're a motivated seller. And then we relieve people of their poverty by allowing people to unite with us, invest with us. Right, and
this is layered.
Yep.
This is layered. Okay, we're gonna have a lot. We gonna get deep into this.
Yeah.
Everybody listening right now, look, this might be the most educational episode.
Food for thought is free.
We got right
Food
here.
for thought is free. Bake sale.
We talking finances, and as Jeff just said, this is food for thought, and it's free food for thought. So we just gonna jump right in. So tell us exactly. Oh no, Rich, you got something to say? Go
I
ahead.
do want him to give maybe 5 to 10 minutes of how you got into it, or I would say just how you transitioned from being a pro basketball player into real estate. Because I know a lot of people are saying, I work this regular job, how can I get into this? Or I don't have the funds, or I may not be in this position. But just give a little bit of insight as to who you were before you were doing this.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let Mo take it away.
I'm gonna keep it a stat with you. When I said I was gonna jump into it, I was gonna ask him to do that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It looked like the real estate questions were about to come immediately.
It was
I'm
little.
gonna jump into that.
You literally did the black face of the white guy.
What did you just do?
Nah, because I want you to give you a background, because it's like it didn't just happen overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want you to transition from who is Art Morrison and how did you get from going to Caldwell, going to play professional basketball.
Oh, you
now
at Caldwell.
Now you just doing real estate. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
break it down
yeah.
for us. Take us
So
through
the
it.
story, I mean, we'll keep it short. First thing I want to say, though, I got to tell everybody, I'm the same as you guys. I'm the same as everybody listening. I'm not a real estate mogul, expert, or guru by any means at all.
Okay.
I represent all of us. Anybody who's A, trying to get started, or B, just makes. I don't want to downplay myself, but amateur moves like I do. I don't own any of these commercial buildings. I don't own any Chrysler buildings. It's all amateur entry level stuff that everybody sitting at this table could have equally as many assets as I have, or conduct equally as much business as I have in the past year. You can too in the next 6 months, I promise. When I break it down to you, you'll understand how. But
I got my quarters
Right.
ready.
I got my notes. I'm ready to take my notes.
Yeah, I like prefacing with that so people aren't I keep telling everyone it's easy. It's so much easier than we all think it is. I promise, it's so much easier. Now, I was blessed. My older brother, for those you don't know, is Jay Morrison, the real estate mogul. So he's a just a beast in himself.
Look that man up.
One of the best teachers of our time. One of the best, just real estate individuals
Hustler.
of all time.
That's the definition
All
of
around
real estate
hustler.
mogul right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have that in my corner. I was educated there, but I've only been in real estate. I'll throw myself a bone and say 2 years, really only a year and a half. And before that, for probably 4 years, I just been being educated, soaking it in. I grew obsessed with it when I was like 14, 15 years old. My mom and dad got divorced. Now, really before that, right? So, we grew up a little tough. We moved a lot. When my brother got into real estate, he finally taught my mom to stop renting and buy. So when we were transitioning from renting to buying, my brother was out, on a move, but it would be me and my mom and my little sister, constant just looking for houses all the time. Yo, and I loved it, bro. Like, my mom would be like, come on, we're gonna go look for some houses. I just love the concept of, we're gonna buy a whole house, it's gonna be ours. My mom would be in there talking about, oh, this is gonna be your room, this is how we're gonna do this is how we could do the backyard. None of us were thinking like career in real estate, we were just trying to find a place to live. But I loved it. Fast forward, my parents got divorced. My mom moved to Pennsylvania, a less expensive area to live than Jersey. We ended up getting this beautiful home, real nice house. It was like the best 2 years of my life and my mom's life. She was so happy. The market crashed. She ended up, not being able to afford the house. We moved back to Jersey. But during that time, I just remember how happy just her owning where she lived, right? Having it decked out, how she wanted the furniture, she wanted the carpet, she wanted all of that, like how that made her feel and how it made us feel just uplifted as a family. I remember going to school and all the people in PA, like, oh, that's the rich boy from Jersey. Because of where we live, I've never been rich a day in my life, you know what I mean? So fast forward, I went to Caldwell University with my boy Gil's brother, Anthony Gill, yeah. So I only played 2 years there. I came in, I went to a prep school that was one of those shady prep schools around 08, 09, 2010, where all the prep schools were shady.
That was popping out.
Yep. So the prep school got shut down halfway through my post-grad year, right? So when I got to Caldwell, I had a couple D1 opportunities. They got snatched from under me. They're like, yo, this school that you at, we can't bring you here. It's not a good look for us. I ended up going Division II. They took a gamble, and it was definitely a gamble because I didn't have the red shirt my freshman year. I lost a year of eligibility. I just couldn't play. So I only had 3 years off the rip.
Damn.
So I played sophomore year, I played junior year, senior year, I tore my ACL about 6 games in, or 8. It was like a game over the threshold of where you could redshirt.
Yeah.
So it was over for that. Luckily, I did well enough my junior year, and my highlight tape was just strong enough. I got a professional contract to play overseas. And I played overseas for a season and a half, like 2 seasons. I say I was a professional basketball player because I was hitting all the pro-ams. I was back and forth to Europe trying out for teams and things like that. All the way up until this year, man, I had an opportunity to play. And we'll get into that a little bit, why I just don't like the overseas business. It's just, I will talk about that. I'll spill all the beans. I don't care. I'll dry snitch on the whole industry.
Let's get it. It's the table you have.
There's a lot of people who play overseas that come back and buy Balenciagas and pretend that they're making a certain amount of money or living certain lifestyles. Not like that over there. Now it is in certain countries.
Crazy.
Yeah, they embellish crazy. And I'm just entrepreneurial. This is when I learned I was entrepreneurial. I sent out 3,000 emails to every team in the whole world. Literally every team in the world. From not the NBA, everything less than the NBA, I sent the email out to.
Australia down.
Down, right? I got 3 contract offers. I ended up accepting 1. Had a good contract.
So you were like your own agent.
I acted as my own agent. So that's when I learned I was entrepreneurial. Mind you, I did all this in a cast, like in a brace. I was hurt.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So it was pretty amazing. I didn't realize it was amazing until like last year I wrote my book and I'm telling my story and I'm like, this is crazy.
That was a flex. I wrote my book. That's how you give it.
I do have a book. Yeah, my bad.
That was a sham going.
How you sham guy?
The little hezzy. You know what I'm saying? On the sideline too, still out of bounds.
The book is entitled Overcome, the Key to Unlocking Your Superhuman. I didn't say my, I said yours. So the way the book is laid out, it's a template to where if you're reading it, you can literally take notes, ask you questions. You could write your own story as I'm telling mine. So I'll pause and say, take the time to write about a time where you felt this way and that way and this way. So at the end of it, you'll have like a nice 45, 50-page book that gets you started, right? But anyway, when I wrote my book, I'm like, yo, that was amazing. I acted as my own agent and got a contract. What made me stop playing overseas though is it's a job. And no offense to anybody that has a job, it's just not for everybody. It's like college isn't for everybody. And man, I hate it. I had some good jobs. I graduated college, so I obviously what that comes with. Better jobs than anybody in my family ever had, because I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. So they're like, boy, if you don't get a job, you went to college in 4 years. You know how our culture is. They're like, boy. And I'm like, yo, I don't like it. So even when I was playing overseas, it was like, when you play overseas, you have quotas, you have a contract. But at the end of the day, like I led the league in scoring, but when my team lost a sponsor, the American was the first to go. They couldn't afford the American, so American got to go. Boom. Then the next year, I was playing the best ever. I had a game. I played on Draymond Green's team in Chicago in the Shy League. Okay. We was having a dunk contest and warm-ups. Tweaked my knee doing it between the legs. Right. Jacked my knee up a little bit. Nothing crazy. It was the other knee, so kind of from overcompensating. It ended up just being tendonitis, but it hurt really bad. I was down a little while. And that was a wake-up call, too. It was like, yo, just off an injury quick. Like, there goes all my money, my career. I don't have no job experience.
No stability.
No stability.
Wow, you got a great mind.
Mind you, even when you do have stability, it's only 6 months stability. You got to take that European money, where they're giving you a car, a house, your whole lifestyle, and try to come and survive in America, the land of the free, where rent is $1,800 a month and the Cardinal is $500 a month.
Bronx, maybe.
Right. right.
No shit, though.
Bronx.
So, yeah, so once all that kind of hit, I still was about to sign and go play in like Lebanon or one of them kind of countries. I got an agent this time, right? I got an agent. I didn't want to do it myself. Agent jerked me for like $3,000. Ended up being like a fraud agent who just was kind of capitalizing on play. Yep. And after that, I'm like, man, this is stupid. I just spent my whole summer playing in Chicago, playing at the Rucker, playing at the Tri-State Classic.
You was cooking. I remember them highlights.
I was just all over, just trying to play, just trying to, you know what I mean? And then, things like that happen, and now it's December. I'm not on a team. 2 teams offering me to play, but they're telling me, hey, car, crib, but we just can't afford to pay you just yet. But maybe in 2 months we'll be able to pay you. Right? So I'm doing the math in my head, and I'm like, nah. So
that's
chitlins every night.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, the story has to be told. I would just jump to the part of the real estate.
Nah,
tell the story time.
You said 5-10 minutes. I want the clock.
Ain't no shot clock there, player.
Word, Jersey ball, no shot clocks. So I had this idea. My first job ever when I was in college, during the summer, and even just some weeknights, is this guy that used to run these camps in Caldwell, Verona area, Central Jersey, right? And he had me come to the camps. I would dunk for the kids. I spoke well. I taught well. He'd give me like $20, send me back on campus. That was my job. So I said, yo, when I play overseas and I make a name for myself, I'm going to do these things myself. I'm going to run camps, clinics, anything. After school programs, I'm going to have apparel. Like, I had this whole vision mapped out on the whiteboard. I only ended up playing 1.5 years overseas. So I milked the shit out that 1.5 years into creating a brand. It's called Above Max Basketball. If you follow at Above Max People on IG, we got like 20,000 followers. It's a big company in
plug me in,
yeah, it's a big company in Central Jersey. I'm just constantly posting workout videos, typical trainer stuff, but we take it another level from the trainer. We got an assortment of AAU teams, between 8 and 12 teams each season. Yeah. We have after school programs. We're in about 4 or 5 school systems. We want to get in more. And just all that. So that was my first introduction to being an entrepreneur, right? I'm like, okay, I dictate my own dollar, right? It's basketball is what I know. And this business, the reason why I mention it is because this is what taught me everything about being an entrepreneur. Everything from managing my money to, literally everything, man. From how to draw up an MOU to how to, everything. Just anything you could imagine in business, I got to learn all while wearing a sweatsuit, no shirt and tie, while playing ball, right? So I learned all of that and did that for about 3 or 4 years, and now really here we are. So when real estate kind of kicked in was when I finally got that business stable and said, okay, this was an LLC, I switched it to nonprofit, I'm doing this and that for the kids, I'm having fun, everything is good, but I'm hitting this ceiling of how much money I can make. Real estate, the numbers is big, right? You seeing cheap house, 180 grand, you know what I mean? $100,000 profit if you flip it correctly. I'm worried about each kid paying me $800, for the season for AAU. I'm like, oh, this is different. So long story short, I took all the principles from my first business, applied it to the the real estate stuff. I enrolled in my brother's online school, the J. Morrison Academy, as well as obviously I have him as a mentor and coach. And it wasn't even official. Just over time, I would just hit him with questions. He would be proud because I'm getting into like
his business,
his space of business. And then last year, I stumbled across a property off market. I knew it was an opportunity from the little bit of things that I learned through the contract on it. Figured it out, which we'll get to the details. I basically did
through the contract on it. Whoo, over the head.
I did the private syndication. That was my first flip.
Over the
2
head.
months later, we bought our first multi-unit property. A couple months later, no, my bad. In between those two, actually got a second flip. Put a contract on another one. And then, what else did we do? Long story short, it just started happening.
Yeah.
And I just stopped being less shook at the big numbers. You just kind of hop in, and I ended up being good at it because of my business experience, because of my willingness to learn and go to Google University and YouTube University, right? And
Free degrees.
free degrees, and figure it out.
University.
Top tutors.
He up there.
I'm up there now. I'm learning.
So that brings me to now, man. So now it's just like my ears constantly to the streets from real estate. We all in it, whether you want to be in it or want to be in it or don't think you're in it. We in it right now. This building is real estate. Everything is real estate, right? So if we learn not so much to do real estate, because everybody wants to do real estate and they think you got to get your license or this or that. Forget about doing real estate. If we learn how to see real estate, if we learn how to understand real estate, if we just activate our 5 senses within real estate, you can make money. Seeing something, saying, "Oh, that's an opportunity."
Yeah.
Right. So I understand that. Oh, okay.
It's a
well,
mentality.
It's a mentality. It's just an overall like, okay, everything around me is an opportunity. I just got to be able to see the opportunity. I just have to know it's an opportunity. You don't need to know all the crazy, intricate strategies. There's other people that can do that, that you can hire, right? Or you can partner with, right?
Yeah.
Well, you just to get started, you got to understand, see, and feel even a real estate opportunity. You got to know, oh, this is an opportunity. Your great grandmama passed away, or your boy's
God bless.
stepmom, right? R.I.P. passes away, and he's stuck with a house, and my condolences, but what you gonna do with the house? You know what I'm saying? Understand that's an opportunity,
That's real
right?
shit,
Some
though.
people just let it go.
That's
Some people.
literally on one of my list of questions, bro.
Absolutely.
That's right on my question.
So that's the rundown.
You fell right to rabbit hole?
You fell right into the rabbit hole. Like
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And open the door to the rabbit hole.
Open the door to the rabbit hole.
Go ahead.
Because the first question that I have for you is like, how do you know what is a good investment? Like you just said, you don't need to know the intricacies of it, but like if you walking down the street and you see this abandoned crib and it's all creaky, you see animals running through there and stuff. Like in my head, just with the little basics of knowledge that I have with real estate, somebody owns that and is probably trying to get that off. They're paying property taxes for that right now, and they might be trying to get that off. How do you know when it's a good opportunity when you see a crib like that?
Yeah, so when you see a house like that, the first way you know it's a good opportunity is getting a market analysis on the area. You can do that now. I don't recommend this from a business perspective, but for us here, hop on Zillow or whatever and just see what it looked like in the area, first and foremost.
Like comparing the other houses.
Just the market
around it?
in general. Yep, houses around it, nearby.
Okay.
That's just a quick,
See what
it
houses
takes 2
around there being
seconds.
sold for.
2 seconds, I'm on Zillow. Sold for, just prices, or just peep.
Listed.
Yep, understand, yep. And this has nothing to do with nothing. It's just for your understanding. From there, if you don't know what to do, which the right thing to do